Boxes. Lego boxes are a strange thing. Some people just put them out for recycling once the set is built and never think of them again. Those people are the lucky ones. If you're like me and have developed the unfortunate desire to save all of your Lego boxes, you've likely run into some sort of spatial crisis trying to figure out where you're going to put all of this cardboard. Not only do you now have to find places for your sets, figures, instructions, and spare parts, but you now have to find a spot to keep your boxes too. In this video, I'm going to show you a few different options and tricks for storing your Lego boxes efficiently. And one last quick thing, most of this video can be applied to sealed sets or empty boxes, but there are a few tips that only work for the empty boxes. Many of you watching this video probably have a setup like this right now with just a pile of boxes in a corner or other part of your room. And I'm obviously guilty of it too, as you can see here. And if you don't mind having part of your room taken over by cardboard, it's actually not a terrible way to store your boxes, but it's not that great either. There are definitely some better ways to do it. Now, I don't actually use this next method myself, just since I lack wall space, but it can be a space-efficient method that looks good too. What I'm talking about would be the box wall. If you have a wall, or even just part of one, that's flat and empty, a box wall can be a great way to store/display your boxes. A box wall is really just what it sounds like, a wall with boxes stacked in front of it to make the boxes look as if they are on the wall. You can see I've kind of thrown together a rough example of what it may look like here. And if you do go this route, which I actually do recommend, it looks cool and it also can be a nice just space efficient way to do it, since they're all up against a wall and you can stack it all the way up to the ceiling. But if you do decide to do this, I strongly urge you to secure your boxes to the wall somehow, so even if it's just like sticky tack on the back of the boxes holding them to the wall, because the last thing you want is your box wall coming crashing down in the middle of the night and crushing you in your sleep. And also, if they are open boxes, I would recommend taping them shut, just so that way you can get them closer together and they won't want to bend a little bit on the open side. And moving on to the next way to store boxes, and this is the method that I use for most of them, and that is piling them in a closet. So if your closet has shelves like this, you can see boxes on the shelf and then the clothes hangers below. This is a great way to do it, and if you have shelves behind the clothes as well, it's a great way to store your boxes out of sight and out of mind. And even if you don't have closet shelves, you can just go ahead and pile them on the floor. You can even go underneath the clothes if you want, or just doing it in the open space, or both, that works too. And keeping your boxes tucked away in a closet is just a nice way to store them, since it keeps them out of sight, like I said, and you can then dedicate other space outside the closet to either shelves, posters, or a bed. So those are really the main ways to store boxes in their box form. However, you do have another option, flattening the boxes. Now, I know that might have made some of you cringe a little, and trust me, I don't much like doing it either. But it is a great space saver. The part of the box that takes up the most space is the air inside of it. So if you take out the air, the box takes up less space. Now granted, if you ever want the box to be a box again, you'd have to use some third-party tape, but the benefits of flattening boxes are there. As you can see, I just have two large boxes flattened down here, and they take up considerably less space than if they were together. And then I also have this tub here, and this just slides right under my bed, and you can see inside, well, this one is a full box. You can see I do have a ton of flattened boxes down here, and this would just not be possible if these boxes were in their box form. And really the only downside of this, like I said, is if you want the boxes to be boxes again. So I recommend doing this with boxes that you just don't really care about. You can see like Fun at the Beach right there, like that's not a great set, not one that you really need the box assembled for. So this is just a great space saver, and while I do recommend trying to store them assembled or like in their full box form, if you are truly desperate for space, storing them flattened can be just a great efficient use of space. If you are truly adamant about keeping all your boxes assembled, there is one trick that will save you a ton of space, and that is putting boxes in boxes. So you can see I have the Tanivy 4 box here, and if I just pull this out, you can see the gingerbread box is hiding inside, and I do that with every box I can. I load up the bigger ones with smaller ones, then just worry about finding a spot for the bigger box. And while after a while you will still run into a spatial crisis, doing this will give you more time to prepare for the box apocalypse. Sometimes you can even put boxes in boxes in boxes. You can see here in the gingerbread house, I have the Convex transport hiding. So this is a box in a box in a box, which is now out of frame. And this really, if you can fit a box in another box, do it. This is a great way to conserve space when storing boxes. And my final tip is this: know when to get rid of boxes. This may sound like a wild concept for my fellow box addicts, but trust me, knowing when to get rid of boxes is more important than knowing when to keep them. For example, nobody cares about LEGO Dimensions anymore, let alone boxes. Boxes of stupid small stuff like that just aren't worth saving. Also, if you casually collect other things besides LEGO, such as Pops or action figures, get rid of those boxes too. If nobody cares about LEGO Dimensions boxes, I struggle to think of anybody that cares about an action figure box. Now, if there is something that you really care about, like I myself am a big Lord of the Rings fan, you can keep the boxes if you want. Like I keep all of my Lord of the Rings pop boxes. But everything else, just get rid of. I am a big Star Wars fan, as many viewers of this channel probably know, but I get rid of almost all of my Star Wars pop boxes. I keep just a very select few. And this is just a great space saver because you literally just don't have it anymore and you can use that space for other stuff. If it's something that you really care about, like I said, keep the box. But if it's just some random pop figure you bought on clearance because you're mildly interested in the franchise, just get rid of it. Just one last thing that probably doesn't apply to most of you, but I did just want to say it. Definitely do not keep shipping boxes or those brown boxes, like say building toys on them, that you get if you buy a bigger set or a bunch of sets in bulk. There's just no point in keeping those. You really don't need them, and I mean, who wants to save a bunch of cardboard boxes? And that will just about do it for this video. Hopefully it has helped you figure out how to store the hundreds of pounds of cardboard boxes you've accumulated over the years. And maybe you've cleared enough space so you can finally put in that shelving unit so you can display all of your built LEGO sets, or even just walk through your room again, or maybe even just sleep on your bed again. And that will be it for this video, guys. Thank you so much for watching. Bye.